Hi guys. So this week we're focusing on digital citizenship and security and privacy. For this blog video, I decided to go ahead and focus primarily on the digital citizenship piece. I'll be doing another one here soon. As I read through everything tonight and I looked at the videos, I watched them. I actually really enjoyed a lot of them. A lot of them were really connected to kind of what we as teachers are kind of struggling with. But there were a couple that I found really fascinating. I really like the video by Wagner talking about the 7 essential skills that students need. Also, I really like the what is digital citizenship because, to be absolutely honest, before coming to this class, I didn't really have a clear idea of what it truly was. And this was a really short but really informational video that helped me to understand a little bit more, but it also encouraged me to go online and to kind of look up some of the other things. I noticed in the video it didn't talk about what digital etiquette was. It's kind of implied what it is, but I wanted to figure it out anyway. Also, it didn't talk about what was the other one? Sorry, it didn't talk about a few. Oh, health and wellness. I kind of wanted to figure out what that meant, but that was talking about like making sure that you're keeping yourself healthy as you are on the computer. Correct posture, things of that nature. Uh, I guess I could have figured that out. Anyway, so onto the points that I found through the two videos, Wagner and what is digital citizenship. I found some similarities that I I thought were actually pretty cool. Like when you look at digital communication, so that's the electronic exchange of communication. And then we look at one of the 7 essential skills, collaboration and leading across networks. These are things that our students are going to be expected to do once they graduate high school, especially right now, because one of the first videos, or actually it was this video, talked about how the jobs are changing now. The jobs used to be more with our hands, and now our jobs are primarily with our brains. There's a few jobs that you're still using hands on, but those are they're starting to go the wayside. So it's something that we need to start preparing our students for now. And I felt that this was such a great example when they talked about how the IBM employees work across cultures and continents. And that's really what we're seeing right now. We're not seeing a lot of people that are just independently working on things. It seems like everyone I talk to right now who's out of education, they're always telling me about how they're working with other people or alongside other people. It's not really, people on their own little island anymore. And I think that's great, but at the same time, we definitely have to start preparing our students for it because if we don't, it's truly going to be a horrific sight here pretty soon when they leave high school and they don't have those skills to work with other people. I'm pretty sure that we're going to see a lot of uh, misdirected anger, things like that, because kids aren't going to know what to do. They're just going to have issues and they're not going to know how to solve them. And that's just because they're not going to be prepared to leave the structure of school and go into the unstructured real world. My personal opinion. Um, Next, I looked at digital literacy, so knowing when and how to use technology. And then I compared that to one of the 7 skills, which was and accessing and analyzing information. Um, I know just through the few, assignments that we've had to do in this class and some of the other courses I'm taking right now, I noticed that I'm sometimes kind of flustered on what I need to do, and that's because I there's such a barrage of information, and without knowing exactly how to find that information, things can be extremely difficult. And that's one thing I'm definitely noticing right now. And it's up to us as educators to really narrow down what students need to do, but not dumb it down. We can narrow down exactly how to use technology and how to use it effectively. And we wouldn't necessarily need to dumb it down in a way of saying you can only try this or this and that's it. We want to still expand on their knowledge, but we don't want to confuse them. Uh, Now, two things that I found just mind-boggling. It's actually one of my goals for my improving my teaching. It's critical thinking and problem solving. It's so difficult to actually get students to think critically sometimes because it's not their fault, it's the teacher's fault. The teacher has to know the questions to ask to make students think critically. The teacher has to know how to elicit that talk, how to get students to one point by asking questions, by having them create discussion about topics instead of asking yes or no questions. That doesn't help anyone at all. So making sure that those students are critically thinking. I loved Wagner's example of when the Bunsen burner started smoking, and the students just stood there and kind of waited. I get that a lot with students, and it's because they are so accustomed to people just doing things for them. And we can't do that anymore. We have to just give them this idea that they have to figure things out on their own. They have to be problem solvers, and people aren't always going to be here to protect them. They're going to have to learn how to grow up and be a human being and be a citizen. And it's just so difficult to teach that to a student who has gone through their life so far this whole time, having everything done for them. And so that's something we need to break the chain for now. Um, Also, when we the next point that Wagner was mentioning was that we cannot be afraid to teach content through the core competencies. So teaching content while teaching reading, teaching content while teaching writing, teaching content while we teach math. Right now, you guys may have noticed I'm actually wearing one of the things that we worked on today. We are working on the Native American Tribes of Oregon unit that my teaching partner and I worked on together. And I actually had Salem Kaiser Indian education come out, and she showed my students how to make these necklaces out of dentalium. And it was such an enriching opportunity for my students. And we wrote about it and we read about it, and there was a story read to them. There's so many ways that these students can get the core competencies through content. And we can't be afraid to, you know, take a step out of teaching to the test. We can't. You have to feel the freedom of teaching once again. I haven't been teaching for that long, but I'm not going to let teaching to the test really pigeonhole me to teaching one thing or the other. You guys can have another opinion. Sorry if you do. I don't mean to offend anyone, but that's how I personally feel. And last but not least, actually, that was the last thing I forgot. I was just going to be connecting number one, the critical thinking, problem solving, to the next standard of critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making. Um, I just can't get over how important this is. Um, as we all know, we wouldn't be anywhere without our ability to use our brain, to think creatively, and to problem solve all those pieces um, that I guess all those pieces that, kind of help us focus on what life is. In a sense, life is just a big problem. You're constantly coming up with ways to solve it. And if you don't have those abilities, you're going to get left behind. And I'm not saying, No Child Left Behind fits in a role here, but the word behind, left behind, it's definitely applicable if these students don't learn how to think critically, how to problem solve, and how to make their own decisions. So, guys, that was my blog video. on digital citizenship. I hope you liked it. Please leave a comment. Sorry, my dog's jumping around. Anyways, good luck on your assignments. Thanks.